Shabbat Shalom, L'chaim, L'chaim. This week's Torah portion in Israel is Matos, or Matot. It opens up with the laws of annulment of vows. If a person makes a vow, what happens and how can it be annulled? It then goes on to a war that was waged against Midian and all the spoils that we brought in and how that was divided up. And it concludes with Bnei Reuven and Gad, the children of the tribes of Reuven and Gad, who chose to stay on the eastern side of the Jordan River instead of crossing over and going into a conquest of the land of Israel with the rest of the tribes. And initially Moshe is very angry by this, but after making a deal with them and talking to them, he comes to terms with everything. So what I want to focus on is something that's been quite prevalent in my life, is the idea of machlokas, which we should never have. But in the times that we're in, the 3 weeks and coming up to Tisha B'Av, I feel personally like there's an energy in the air of the yetzer hara, because the Jewish cycle of time is cyclical. It means that we're always going up, but we are experiencing a similar energy each year. And this time, the 3 weeks, is a time of mourning. But not just that, it's been a time where it's been actually bad for us, There have been conquests against Israel, the walls of Jerusalem fell, the siege of Jerusalem began on the 17th of Tammuz, and it all ultimately culminates in the destruction of both our temples on Tisha B'Av. So it's never been a good time for us historically. And that's why it's now a time of mourning. But I feel that during this time, the yetzer hara is very strong, and the yetzer hara is very active. And what I believe that machlokas tends to come about during this time, because the temple is destroyed because of sinat chinam, baseless hatred. And I feel like that's something that, in order to combat, we need to actively have it in mind that the yetzer hara, the sitra achra, is out to get us during this time. It's very strong, and it's trying to fight against the children of Israel. And we need to make sure that we have that at the forefront of our mind in order to combat it. And these laws of mourning can sometimes make us feel not only sad and, in a bad mood, but then comes the yetzer hara and it makes you feel actually depressed and even worse. And, if we're going to talk about vows and everything, then something I was learning this week with my chavrusa is that we are all given an oath, before we're born, to be a tzaddik and not be a rasha. And I think that this vow is something that we continue to have in our life. And in a time like this where, we're almost tempted or being pulled towards baseless hatred or bad deeds, we have to remember this vow that we made, that it's not annulled, that we're still trying to be tzaddikim. We're still trying to be the best we can, and we're still trying to see the best in every situation. And to go another step, another important factor is that we see lately that Moshe Rabbeinu has forgotten halacha. He has forgotten certain things. And when it comes to the children of Reuven and Gad who want to stay on the eastern side of the Jordan, he gets angry at them. And so he speaks to them, he rebukes them a little bit about what will be. And then he sees that actually they're here for the community. They said, we're going to help you take over the whole land, and then we're going to come back here. You're going to see we're going to set up places for our children. You're going to set up, places to learn, and mizbechot, places to offer up korbanot to Hashem. Like, we're fully connected to Hashem. But his first inclination was that something's wrong here. I don't trust that they really have the best interest. And I think what we can learn from that is that when you guide yourself by the ways of the Torah, and you're living with the times of the Torah, and you're attuned to the times that we're in now, and what's going on, then it really helps you to see clearly and see that most people are really trying to do their best, but maybe we're being swayed, maybe we're being suspicious for not true reasons. So the two messages I want to give across are, one, we've been given an oath to be righteous, and that's something that we need to remember, especially in times like this that are tough, times where the energy in the world is machlokes and difficulty. Above that is that the ways of the Torah can illuminate our eyes. It can help us see clearly in the world, and it can help us be attuned to the energy and to feel what's going on. So Zrat Hashem, we should all merit to connect more to Torah, to connect more to the times, and to feel these energies, and to learn how to combat them and help those around us to combat them as well. Shabbat Shalom.